To be or not to be? That is the question. Come on!
Peace. Be still.
Come on, I said!
Oh, here, man. I'm available.
Massive, my elbow is. I thought there would a scout follow.
I owe you an answer for that.
Man, are you afraid up here? Like, does this make you nervous? Maybe your stomach's turning a little bit. Just like, ooh, what are you afraid of? But most importantly, why are you afraid of it?
And I'll forward it with that tail.
Come thee close. I'm like a true drunkard. I water all to thee. I heard this quote the other day and I loved it. It was on a YouTube video and the lady was talking about bungee jumping. And right behind the bungee jumping platform for people who turned around that wanted to quit, there was a big quote on the wall. It says, life begins outside of your comfort zone. And I love that. Like, I love the concept of it. And I'm not even talking about bungee jumping. Today, I'm talking about a theater performance.
We charge you in the prince's name. Stand.
Let me set the scene for you. I was a senior in college, 5th year. I had been to 3 universities already. And I was a college athlete, finance major, old math education major. So that's kind of where my mind was, right? And it was the spring semester of my senior year, right after my senior football season. And I was like this, right? I have 40 plus hours a week now that I don't know what I'm gonna do with. Well, this opportunity came up to be in theater. So I thought, you know what do I have to lose? Let's get it. The last time I had done anything involved in theater was probably 3rd grade when they forced us in school. But it was something that was so outside of my comfort zone, so outside of my realm, so outside of my social circles. I was like, you know what? There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for growth here. Now, to be honest, there were 2 main things that I think I was afraid of. 1, people's judgment, by far number 1. All the people that are in theater, what they were gonna think of me, all of the athletes, what they were gonna think of me, what the audience was gonna think of me, and 2, my ability. Was I going to be any good? Like, could I actually perform on stage? I like to speak to people, but performing and becoming a character that is not yourself is a whole nother ballpark. That was actually part of the reason that I did it, because I wanted to speak to people and motivate people in big crowds. And I thought, well, if I can perform on stage in theater, why can't I talk to big groups of people? Now, I'd say there were 3 main relationships that helped like push me through this whole process. One was with a guy named Luis Hisi Maya, Richie Maya. Okay, listen, this play we did was Shakespeare, right? This man's first language isn't even English, it's Portuguese. And he agreed to sign up with me. He was a basketball player. He agreed to sign up with me to do this. This man's crazy. Number 2 was a man named Dan Fagan, who you'll hear from. He's a pro. Like, we got on stage and we were watching him the first couple days, like, what are we doing? We don't know left from right up here. We were wild thinking we could do this. And number 3 is Dr. Eileen Smith. She was the, oh man, what do you call it? Not conductor, not producer. She led the whole play, and she just helped me see life differently. Now, the first person you're gonna hear from, Luis, we had very similar experiences going from athletics to theater and some of the contradictions, some of the similarities, but he's gonna speak to a few of those right now. Let me zoom in for you, get you up.
Okay. Maybe I can grow, I can, experience, spend my time with different people, and I was really looking into that, just how can I fill the blank that I had in my schedule, which is, I was very busy throughout the other years, and I wanted to fill with different experience. And I thought, why not theater? I never done anything close to that. So it was basically I saw it as a challenge.
Did you realize the commitment you were signing into?
Hell no. That's one of the first things when I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, this might be fun, you know, theater, it might be fun. And then you go there, and like, you get the first rehearsal, and I'm like, oh crap. Like, this is
It's like 85 pages or something.
85 pages, I'm like, oh my god. And then my first day I was watching Dan, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'll never be able to do that.
Bro, he
And then
killed
you
it.
have that feeling, I'm not gonna be able to do it. At least for me, you know, I'm like, and that's something I was thinking about, because I was so used to doing things I was good at. Like, I started playing basketball when I was 5, and then by the time I was 11, I was practicing it just every day. And then when you go to school and you decide majors, you usually decide majors that you're interested because you're actually good at that. Right? So you're studying things that you're probably good at, and you're doing things that you're good at, and then suddenly you have, I suck at this. But I was thinking, how I am competitive and trying to improve in other things, you know, I'm doing this, how can I get better? Then you search the best 10 ways to get better at that. Whatever case you can do to kind of improve 1%. Right? But then with theater, I remember first week struggling on that. Okay, so how can I read this better? How can I do this better? And then I realized that I was Conrad and you're Borracho. It's different than anything you've done before.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just practice. You gotta actually change your mindset. It was very interesting. And just let it go of any performance.
Yeah, the vulnerability, like, even watching it back, I was just thinking about how the more you could, like, let go, especially as an athlete and somebody who isn't or wasn't involved in theater heavily, just like letting go of what people are thinking of you and just take on that character as much as you can, and just, it is, like, it's just a letting go and just being.
You know, name top 3 experiences you had in Minor State. And I look back 4 years, and I'm telling you, I'm dead honest. First thing came to my mind was theater.
Now Luis and Conrad, that was his alias on the stage. They were my partners in crime, both on and off the stage. We were rookies together. Luis and I did a 7-day food fast while we were in the middle of this experience. Like, they were my guys. Now on the other hand of the experience spectrum was Dan. Dan Fagan is a pro. This is definitely not his first time. He kills it. He has several monologues on stage during this Shakespeare play. And I wanted to get his take a little bit on theater in general, how it can help us push outside of our comfort limits, and how he got there in the first place.
I was in my early 20s. That was just kind of the first chance that I was able to get in to do an acting class and to find someone who said, yeah, you know, you should really pursue this. I think you have some talent with it. For instance, if I'm on stage and let's say an actor forgets to make an entrance or something unexpected happens, the first thing I do, and I think for most actors this is important, the first thing that most actors do in that situation is they lose control of their breath, they stop breathing, they start to panic, and like the best thing you can do, even if it's something like where you forget a line, you're like, oh my gosh, what's my line? Here it comes, here's my cue, is just breathe.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Like, something happens and it's just like you just stop. And then everybody knows. But if you're able to breathe, I feel like then you can also move at the same time, and movement, I feel like, draws attention, but not to the point where it's like, oh, somebody fucked up already.
Yeah, well, and two, I think it just opens your mind, so.
For sure.
You know, it's like someone jumps like a page and a half ahead, you know, in the play, and then you go, okay, you breathe. And I've had this happen before, and then everyone kind of realizes what's happened, and you just take a deep breath, and then you go back and you kind of improvise the information that's skipped over. I've had that happen before, and it's really awesome because the actors know what's happened, and then one of the actors will make a choice like, well, let's go back and get those lines in, and in a way that the audience has no idea that someone skipped ahead. But the actors are figuring it out on their feet, and that puts you kind of in this state of flow where you're just talk to any actor who's been doing this enough, they all will tell you that they've had a dream, a nightmare, where they're doing a show and they don't know that they go on stage and they don't know the play that they're in, and there's this audience, and every actor has had that. With film acting, you make a mistake and the director calls cut, and then you just do another take. When you're on stage in live theater, there's no cut, so anything can happen. That's why I love it so much.
I was gonna say, I think that was one thing that I really liked about that is the performance aspect, but it is like game time, like in sports. You know, you get on the field and there's no like cut. You just react to whatever happens. What you were talking about with the lines, if something happened, like that's exhilarating. I think to some people that you have the opportunity, like, okay, something happened, what are you gonna do now? Now the reason I wanted to talk so much about fear in this episode is because that's what drives comfort. Think about if you've ever bungee jumped or skydived, which I haven't done either, but I plan on doing, or rock climbed, or been on a rooftop downtown. There's that sense of fear that you walk towards the edge with, that you get a little bit closer and your stomach turns a little bit more, and you say, should I be here? Is this what's best for me? Like, am I doing too much right now? But that fear that holds you from the edge is the same fear that holds you from having that important conversation with your partner. That same fear that keeps you from quitting that job that you hate to go do something that you love because you're afraid of the outcome. That fear restricts us and holds us within our comfort zones. And if we're never able to face that fear, then we stay there. We stay in our comfort zone. And like that quote said earlier, life begins outside of your comfort zone. And here is where I get outside of my comfort zone. Hey, you got my bat suit? Yeah, let me get it. I'm about to jump over this edge. Nah, I'm just playing, yo. I'm surprised they haven't kicked me off of this building yet. And that's another episode of Freaky Friday. If there's something that you are afraid of that you know you need to get over, leave it in the comments. Maybe you just need to speak it into existence, have an accountability partner. Maybe the comments can be that partner. If you like Freaky Friday, I'd appreciate it if you like this video, if you got anything out of it. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you next week. Peace.